the heroes na pwedeng gamitin ng kanilang mga side lane. Now, alam naman na to, both of these teams, ilang beses na to nagharap. Pero now, MPL-PH, ayaw na nilang bigyan ng mga heroes dito. Si not Venus, Iyaknu and Dilar.
Okay.
Canceling a lot of side lane heroes. Basically, side lane nga lahat ng binan dito ng MPL-PH.
Oo, totoo. At sa totoo lang, Rob, nakita mo na naman, meron na naman sila isang zoning hero dito. Sa side nila, meron silang Farsa. So, ibig sabihin dito, if ever ayaw nila ng laban at gusto ng MPL-PH, kailangan daanan ng MPL-PH si Venus. But, remember, MPL-PH dito, not taking anything away from them. Masyado nating natutukan dito si Wise tsaka yung squad niya dun sa pag-ikot nila dito kay Yison Shin. Dito naman sa kabila, what they want to do is to become very aggressive. And alam naman natin na yung MPL-PH kasi napaka-aggressive na team na to at gusto nila talaga na most of the time lumalaban sila. Sa sobrang aggressive nila, may gushon dun sa kabila.
May gushon, and I'm not gonna lie, if I see this on KLVJ, excited na kagad ako for game number 2. Though, I like what I've said about the composition of ONIC-PH. But yes, Venus do have the Farsa, pero this is something na gusto rin ng mga Yuzhong na players because they are innate, or rather, kadalasan yung mga Yuzhong natin has this execute, and the only thing that they usually do is use the Black Dragon, go kung saan, gagamitin yung Feathered Airstrike, and kill the Farsa from there. Pero yun nga kaya, but it's not gonna be KLVJ, it's gonna be JP. And I think there was some time na nag-number 1 ng Gushon si JP. I just can't remember which season.
Ito a fun fact. Ang top 1 dati sa kanila sa DD No Limit, which is yung first team, yung first time na lumapag sila dito nung MPL Season 3, if I'm not mistaken, si Rafli siya talaga yung Gushon Lord sa kanila. And lahat sila marunong mag-Gushon.
Totoo.
Pero si Rafli siya talaga yung gumagamit yung dati.
Siya yung pinakabatak.
Oo, siya yung pinakabatak mag-Gushon.
Parang pero, may naalala kong isang kaibigan natin ganyan, Butters.
Sino?
Si Fujakin, Fujakin, di ko alam dating assassin pala siya. Tapos di ba we've seen him on the MPL, puro tank na. Tapos nung nalaman ko, so yung mga tank natin ngayon, na naging dating assassin is a better tank kasi alam nila kung paano nila poprotektahan yung mga carry nila. Kasi nandun na rin sila dati.
And ito pa, alam din nila kung paano mabuisit yung mga core ng kabila, yung mga assassin ng kabila. Kasi may mga gumawa na rin sa kanila nun at alam nila kung kailan sila nainis.
Totoo,
so,
no?
Palitan yan Alam mo protektahan at alam mo rin buisitin.
Yes. That is, it's true experience, mga kaibigan, na mararamdaman. And I think a lot of tank user would definitely empathize with us doon sa ganun klaseng experience. Pero, speaking of experience, MPL-PH, hindi bago sa kanila na tinatalo ng ONIC sa unang laro, pero kailangan nila dito bumawi.
Tignan natin kung paano nila gagawin yon, and ONIC-PH, paano nila pipigilan ang pagbawi ng Aura Fire. Aura dito, kung papansinin mo, they put JP onto the middle lane, and look at this, Grid, napaka-aggressive. Going straight for Wise, agad-agad.
Yun na, pero medyo nilaryo yung camera, pero may baton na nagawa doon si Raflisha, and that's gonna be Jay revitalized, nilapag na doon sa may bandang lupa.
Okay, so bakit nanalo ang ONIC-PH doon sa bigayan na yun, Kuya Rob? Yung mga buhay nila dito, mababa. Nabawasan sila ng todo dito. And sabi ng ONIC-PH, mababa yung buhay nila. Sugod tayo.
Sugod talaga. Dahil si Jay na naman yung nanggulo doon sa purple buff, mukhang hindi pa yata huminto ang ONIC-PH. Pero akin na munang sabihin, from October 27 hanggang November 13, log in kayo sa inyong mga laro and participate in the Trickster Village event and get Halloween candies for a treasure spin. Each spin will cost 4 Halloween candies, and you can get up to 7 each day from completing tasks. Charista special skin Hammer Giant is guaranteed within 10 spins. You don't want to miss out on this one.
And alam mo, ito, you don't want to miss out on the laning stage na nangyayari dito for the side of ONIC. Ang ganda ng pressure na nadadala nila dito against Aura. Pero ang Aura dito may sagot sa may taas. Although KLVJ dito, siya pa rin yung nasa side lane na Roger. Tingnan natin kung paano gagamitin ng ONIC yung advantage nila dito na walang purple buff ang Gushon.
Oo. Saka I like what Dilar did doon. I mean, most Tamus player would just hold on it. Probably bibili ng healing necklace at hindi nila hahayaan na umalis sa kanilang lane. Half HP si Delar, alam niya na malapit doon si Grid. TP out na tayo kagad, full HP. That's the only time na magiging sa ano tayo. Kumbaga confident siya na magstay sa lane niya.
Malinis ang ginagawa dito ng mga teams. Tignan natin kung paano nila kukunin ang kanilang mga core items dito. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of preparations, you have 3 executes on the side of ONIC. That's going to be on Roger, Natalia, and Yuzhong. Dito naman sa may kabila, mas, sabihin na natin, mas more na pinaghalo. May mga flicker, may retribution, may revitalize. Mas balance, kumbaga.
Mas balance. Rather, mas defensive in nature yung mga spell ng ONIC kasi puro pantakas. Meanwhile naman dun sa kabila, more on offensive kasi panay execute.
So, eto humahanap yung Aura-PH dito ng setup na magagawan nila ng paraan para mag-pop off na si JP. JP dito, he's just gonna go out. Nag-recall ba yun?
Oo nga eh. Para alam mo yung recall ni Saber, parang ganun yung pakiramdam.
Boss, paskin ka naman ng gano'n. Gusto ko yan eh.
Ang ganda.
Boss,
actually,
boss,
that was
Rob,
the
wala
first
ba
time
tayong skin?
nakita ko doon. Actually, meron ako, Terisla. Terisla, kakasabi ko lang
Gusto gusto ko eh. Pero, uy.
Pero eto na, Wise dito, ginugulo ni Creed pero hindi niya masyadong papasukin. Dilar, jumping in, papunta doon sa Natalia. Siya ang unang nabura. Sino ang susunod? That's gonna be Kilowash. Mga kaibigan, 2-man down na naman ang nawala sa Aura-PH and this gonna be an uncontested turtle para sa ONIC.
Lagi silang nalilikuran dito ng side ng ONIC. Kumbaga, pipilit yung Aura-PH dahil mayroong Black Dragon form. Mag-call sila ng fight. Tapos ang ginagawa ng ONIC-PH dahil sobrang agresibo ng Aura, iniipit nila sa gitna. Na dumarating sa point na yung dalawang members nila dito, si Iyakno tsaka si Dilar, yung on Tams and the Ruby, meron silang 1v1 situation against one of the heroes ng Aura-PH.
Oo, pero yun na. May bawi naman sila doon, Kuya Butters, dahil nakuha nila si Oh My Venus, though si Wise hindi na nila makukuha ngayon. Now, mga kaibigan, what I think, to be honest, is that hindi na ma-maximize ng at least ng Aura-PH dito yung kanilang lineup. Why did I say that? Kasi yung execute nila, parang sabihin na natin parang natutulog. Kasi whenever you're gonna be going for a very aggressive approach, like tatlong execute kayo, and yung cooldown, hindi nyo nagagamit, you don't have the maximum uptime ng spell nyo, baliwala eh.
Oo, kumbaga, kinukuha mo kasi ang execute, Rob. Tama ka dun eh. Kinukuha mo ang execute para talagang kumuha ng kill as long as mag-off cooldown siya. And what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, about off cooldown is once na available yung skill, dapat napipindot siya agad.
Oo.
Kasi yun yung isang advantage mo eh, na nagagamit mo siya every time at walang nasasayang na oras dun sa execute na yon. Kumbaga, hindi siya katulad ng flicker kasi yung flicker, sinesave mo yun eh. Kumbaga, tinatabi mo yung flicker para dun sa mga oras na maiipit ka sa laban or pwede ka mag-engage dahil tingin mo na kayo yung mananalo dun sa fight na yon.
Totoo.
Pero for execute, it's more on the idea na pagka magagamit mo siya, gamitin mo siya.
Yes, gamitin mo siya. And come to think of it, that's 3 execute. If you could be able to just deal damage kahit sino nga yata na puruhan mo ng 3 execute together with the skill of any hero, for sure mamamatay. Regardless ako na siguro Basha would be an exemption para sa side dito ng ONIC-PH. Now, what we're trying to say is para siyang pwede natin sabihin, Butters, sa Veterans Hunter emblem. Tapos retribution. You always want your retribution na nagko-cooldown kasi na-maximize mo yung paggamit ng emblem mo. But meanwhile for Aura, I think they are very reactive at this moment. Though, siguro naman may powers, they know their winning condition, their power spike, pero tingin ko hindi pa nila nakikita up until now.
And seeing na may execute sila dito, marami sila magagawang bagay. Pero, it's gonna go to Raflisha. Naagaw nila yon. Pero may punish kaya namang gagaling dito sa side ng ONIC-PH. Grid ang nakita at Grid ang napili.
Yun nga, siya yung napili at siya yung medyo nagkamali. Pero magkakamali rin kaya dito si Jay. Makunat naman ang isang Basha. Pero dalawa, may tulak pang nangyari doon. Habol ngayon, even Jay na wala ng buhay dito, yung gulong, makunat pa din. Raflisha, kaya ba? Traceless in para sparring boy. Si Dilar, nasa likod. Pero binato siya ni Raflisha, pero bale wala. Habol na naman dito, basag yata ang torre sa gitna ng Aura-PH.
Ito yung tinatawag natin true zone. Totoo yung true zone, men.
Alam mo yung pakiramdam, Kuya Butters, na ay biglang nandun si Dilar, nasa top ka. 'Di ba? Parang alam mo yung misdirection, pero ang bigla na lang lumalabas, lumilitaw sa clash. And that's gonna
Lulubog
be
lilitaw.
Ay, pwede yan. Magic Temple.
Magic Temple.
Oo.
Hindi halata sa edad.
Oo, pero yun pa, ang nawala, Kiluwash ang sunod. Naku po, mga kaibigan, Aura, they really need to think through dito dahil ONIC-PH hindi nagbibiro.
Hindi nagbibiro. Aura PH dito, kailangan nilang bilisan yung kanilang mga engagements dito. Katulad yan, as long as mabilis at snappy yung pag-takedown mo ng mga tao dito, hindi sila makaka-react. Pero kapag ka nag-extended yung teamfight, kumbaga tumagan, sabihin natin ng ilang segundo, sabihin natin mga 10 seconds, 15 seconds, enough time kasi yun para kay Dilar at kay Iyakno na maka-ikot, di ba?
Oo.
Kailangan mabilis.
Mabilis.
Kasi Gusion Key.
Exactly, mabilis pa sa pass. Ika nga ni Manjin Paldas. Pero yun na, nakuha ni Wise na naman yung turtle, Black Dragon, panggulo, pero walang nangyari. Out na muna naman dito ang Aura PH and ONIC. ONIC! They are the one on the lead. Yes, 3,000 pa lang ang lead. Pero I guess they are very in a comfortable position.
Si Grid, kaya niya habulin si Venus dito. Pero si Venus nakaramdam eh.
Ano,
Wings by wings na agad.
Grabe yung anticipation ni Oh My Venus, no?
Wise dito, looking as sharp. Pero Aura PH nakuha na ni JP yung pinakaunang kill niya. So ibig sabihin, it's all about momentum at this point. Kaya niya bang sundan etong kill na to?
Yes, mukhang susundan na nga yata. Isang laban na naman na magaganap. JP, looking in sa Y, siya yung gusto niyang pawala. Pero dito sa may bandang baba, gitna, Iyakno ang napili na lang. Pero hindi nila mapatay yung Ruby. Binato na si Kiluwash para tumakas pa. Pero walang nangyari sa laban. Once again, Kuya Butters, ang mga execute parang natutulog na lang bigla.
At habang nangyayari lahat yon, nagpa-farm si Kel VJ. Si Kel VJ dito, kung makikita natin yung gold, siya yung isa sa mga farm talaga na heroes dito kasi hindi siya pinapatulong as much as possible. Si Rafflesia yung pinagsasapan nila dito at si Rafflesia din ang makukuha nila at itutumba nila.
Tumbang-tumba talaga, Kuya Butters. Pero you look at that. That was the tank meant to be para sa Aura. Pero binubura lang ng ganon-ganon ng ONIC-PH. Kiluwash dito. Dragon Tail pa uwi. Naku po, ano na ang mangyayari dito sa Aura PH? Our back-to-back champion are gonna be having a back-to-back lose nga ba sa ONIC PH dahil nakapatay na naman sila ng isa. Nagkamali ba ng bato? That's gonna be Jay. That's the Basha. Papalag naman ng ONIC pag ginilig at ginusto. ONIC, pasok ang magic. Si Kiluwash makunat doon sa gitna. Hindi pa rin mamatay. Ang ganda ng mga bato ni Rafflesia pero siya yung nawala. Sunod na si Kiluwash. Naku po, ubos ang Aura. Tatlo ang nawala at nagbasag na lang si Wise doon sa taas.
And hindi yon difference in terms of skill, hindi yon difference in terms of timing. It was the difference in terms of items, ladies and gentlemen. Hindi yun dahil na mas magaling at mas maganda yung pwesto. Kung papansinin mo, ang ganda ng pwesto ng ano eh.
Ng Aura, to be honest.
Ng Oric. Napagsama ko yung dalawang team. Yung Aura, ang ganda ng pwesto nila. Na Black Dragon farm dito ni Kiluwash, yung apat, na pagkumpul-kumpul niya, ang dami na huli na knock-up, pero ang kulang talaga kasi, damage.
Yes, definitely. Yung damage. I mean, supposedly, the Gusion was the one to burst anyone from the side of ONIC-PH. Kita naman yon sa ginagawa ni JP kanina. Is actually pushing forward na mapatay si Wise. Pero, gaya nga, like what you said, Butters, napaka-awkward na ng position ng ONIC doon. Pero, definitely
Sila pa naparusahan.
Sila pa naparusahan. At speaking of parusa, si Grid, masyado na siyang matilok. Patay doon sa taas daw. ONIC-PH with a very commanding lead. 8,000 ang lamang. Hintay na lang dito sila sa Lord at posible na nilang masara itong laro.
So nakakahanap na rin yung mga teams natin dito how to deal with the Natalia. Mas nagiging alerto na sila sa mga bagay sa gilid-gilid. Nakita din natin ito kahapon of dun sa Omega versus Blacklist na hindi talaga nakapwesto yung Natalia. Every single time na iikot siya, merong way dito yung side ng Omega para hanapin yun. Pero here comes the initiation. Wala nang Gusion.
Yes, wala nang Gusion, pero ano pa ang hahanapin para sa Aura? Depensa sila dito, mga tol. Ano ang gagawin? Kaya ba nila ito? Wala pang minion wave. Dito ang ONIC, 50 seconds ang Lord. Disengage na muna, but that's gonna be a 1 for 1 kill. Pero I think Iyakno, what he actually did there, meron siyang sinubukang ikunin eh. Pero hindi nga nila na-burst. That was actually JP. Pero mukhang hindi pa yata tapos ha. ONIC-PH, pumasok doon yung gulong. Nako, wala yatang tulong. Raflisha, muntik mamatay yung robot. And out again. Tingin ko ang ginagawa ngayon dito, Kuya Butters, ng Aura is just nililimit nila ang vision ng, rather ng ONIC. Nililimit nila ngayon dito ang Aura kasi alam nila na mabubuhay na yung Lord. Si Natalia, maganda ang pwesto. Kaya niya kaya mapatay si Wise.
Si Wise nahuli dito. Traceless. Magagamit yung Traceless. Pero nakatanong pa rin si JP.
Buhay pa! Pero
Execute.
hindi. Execute. Nagamit na rin sa wakas. Sunod dito, eto na ba ang pagbangon ng api. Naku po, si Jay, yung gulong pero wala nang katulong. Sa likod, si Iyakno nagkawatak-watak ngayon ng ONIC-PH. Naku po, Aura Fire. Nag-init na ang mga Aura, mga miyembro. Habol sila rito.
Ito na yung Dragon. Inahabol yung Ibon.
Naku po,
Sinawawin ko pa kayo yan.
Kailangan mong lumabas ng laro pero hindi nakahabol doon ang Aura. Ginugulo sila ngayon dito ni Dilar. Ako ang bahala sa iyo, aking Reyna. Hindi kita hahayaan na mawala.
The Queen and the King, ladies and gentlemen. LVJ is the King. The Queen is on the other side. Oh, my Venus dito going in. Wings by wings will get her out.
Yes, we'll get her out and at least yes, namatay doon si Dilar pero na-hold nila
Si Jay,
doon yung
gusto
pagkuha ng Lord. Si Jay, masyadong matilok. Habol siya dito. Yung gulong binabato-bato pero wala pa rin, hindi aabot. Now, I think, Kuya Butters, we do have a ball game.
We have a ball game indeed, Rob. Nahanap ng ORA-PH dito yung turnaround na hinahanap nila kanina pa. Walang opening na pinapakita yung ONIC-PH. Pero ito nga sinabi natin, sa isang choreography, pwede kang magkamali ng step. And yun yung pagkakamali sa step dito ng ONIC-PH. Kumbaga, yung single-single, double-double, naging single-double-single.
Oo, nagulo. Nagulo ang steps dito ng ONIC-PH. Yes, they are still on the lead dito mga kaibigan, but ORA-PH, they do have here a chance to break it even para sa kanilang peers ng ONIC. At nakikita na natin dito, nagkakaroon na, mapapansin nyo mga kaibigan, nagko-cooldown na ang execute dito ng mga tropa natin sa Aura.
Mahirap ang pwestuhan talaga dito ng ORA-PH. Parang may something sa Aura ngayon na hindi nila kilala kung ano yung laro nila eh.
Yeah.
Parang naghahanap sila, nangangapa sila.
Yes, parang hindi nila alam yung certain identity nila dito sa laro na to. Pero yun nga ba talaga ang storya dito, Kuya Butters? Dahil si Raflisha pasok doon sa likod ng ONIC pero pinatay ni YC Green. Habol yung Dragon. Naku po, kaya nyo ba yan? LVJ, yung makulit na aso. Rather, yung Wolf nga yata yun. Pero si Dilar, magulo. Habol na naman. Dragon Tail may pinaangat pero wala pa rin doon. Wise ang mawawala. Sunod na si Kilowatt. Magulo masyado ang laban pero ang sure ako, dalawa lang ang natitira sa Aura at isa na nga lang ngayon at yun ay si Raflisha. Ang tanong, kukunin ba nila yung Lord or tatapusin ang laro?
Si Wise ang nakuha kapalit ang apat ng Aura. Raflisha, the only man standing here, and I think that is going to be an uncontested Lord for the side of ONIC. Pero si Raflisha dito may gustong gawin. May gustong patunayan. Binato niya isang tropa doon nung ONIC-PH sa loob.
Na parang sinusubukan mananakaw nga kaya ng robot na yan pero hindi. Grid move, muntik nang umabot pero hindi sapat. Still, ONIC-PH, ito, tignan natin, the Gillette Instant Replay, #ShaveTheDay, ang nangyari doon sa laban, Kuya Butters.
Kung mapapansin nyo, nagkaibitan na, ang ganda na ng huli kay Wise. That was a fight na kaya na sana i-take ng ORA-PH. But, hindi nila napansin si Venus. Kasi at this point in time, kailangan kapag dumiretso ka, hindi ka liliko, hindi ka pwede umatras.
Bawal.
Hindi ka pwede huminto.
Totoo yun. Rostar. Oo.
Ang kailangan gagawin mo, pag nakita mo si Venus ang target mo next kung matanggal mo si Wise kasi hindi na kayo pwede magpa-isolate dun sa ginagawa ni Venus na very airstrike.
Exactly. Tas given na medyo nagdidikit-dikit pa sila doon, medyo makipot yung lugar na yon para sa Aura-PH. Yes, mga kaibigan, naku po, mukhang magkakaroon yata tayo dito ng match point as ONIC-PH slowly but surely na winawasak pero yung Dragon ni Kilowatt punta doon sa likod. Pero wala nang pakialam yung ONIC dahil si Dilar, hindi lang siya pogi, matapang pa, pumasok doon sa loob ng base dito ng Aura pero Iyakno ngayon sinusustain ng buong Aura. 3 ang nawala, gawin mo ng 4 yung bigla dahil si JP ang natira. Ngayon, kaya ba ng gusto mo? Hindi, dahil ang ONIC ngayon ay 2-0 na.
Malinis na performance coming out from the side of ONIC-PH, ladies and gentlemen. Hindi nagbibiro ang ONIC-PH dito.
Yep, hindi nagbibiro talaga. ONIC Magic, all for ONIC. Lahat na ng hashtag dito sa team na to. Isa na lang, magiging season 4 ba to, Kuya Butters?
Ito ang gusto ko lang i-realize na for Grand Finals, alam ng Aura PH yung feeling na to. Na 1 point away ang ONIC sa pagkapanalo nila at sila yung kailangan humabol. But still, remember, hindi pa nakakanasan ng Aura PH yung ganitong pressure sa my quarterfinals pa lang.
Yeah.
Usually nangyayari to Grand Finals.
Yes.
This is something new for Aura PH.
Indeed.
And I think if there's something called the pressure na pumabalot sa kanila dito, this is the time na napipressure na talaga ang Aura. You need
Yes.
to reset.
They really need to reset. At kayo, kung isa kayo sa mga sumusuporta sa Aura, mga kaibigan, kailangan nila ng energy nyo. Kung may energy ball ba na tinatawag sa atin, kailangan nyo na siyang gawin. Dahil all the support and the love ng Aura PH ay kailangan na nila on the very next game. Pero before we actually talk more about the two teams, atin munang pakinggan kung ano pa ba yung mga hindi natin nakita doon sa laban na yon. Nakita yan for sure ng ating solo analyst, Rockhart. Anong meron dyan?
Well, ano meron dito is mainit, tahimik right here on MPL Studios dahil teams natin we're getting into match point. Aga, ang bilis. Ang bilis ng match point natin ngayon actually. Nakagulat ako pa si Rockhart, ang solo analyst nyo. Thank you so much for that wonderful cast from our casters. And now, let's go into what happened in Game 2 for ONIC-PH versus Aura. Now, this is a very good attempt for Aura PH to try to hunt down yung old school na talagang, alam niyo naman, old school na meta natin dito sa MPL Season 6. Go for the single carry funnel. And it really did look like it was going to work for a moment. Double assassin, isipin mo, may Gusion ka na, may Natalia ka pa. Parang imagine mo kung ikaw yung Yisan, ang hirap nun, di ba? Pero no, sabi ng ONIC, we will have the zoning capabilities of Oh My Venus. Plus, si Jay ang bahala kung may sakaling may mga subok mag-invade. Automatic, may alarm system sila. Pang-hunting, pang-habol, Jay's got that. And of course, yung dalawang anchor ng ONIC-PH dun sa magkabilang lanes. Itong si Dilar at itong si Yakno. And that's very well. That's very good. But I really thought that they were gonna be able to pull off at least some effort here on the assassinating Wise. But apparently, Wise just plays it so safe na umaabot tayo hanggang dulo ng laro. And here in the post-match data, pansin mo din yon, purple buffs, dun naman tayo sa buffs nagkakatalo. And they have a tool, not just for a good defense, but also for a good offense, going to the back line. Complete turtle control over to ONIC. 9 towers going over to them as well. And of course, the buffs definitely doing a lot of favors para sa ating Yisan Shin. Maximum uptime on Mountain Shocker. Maximum uptime as well on, of course, the Farsa's Feathered Airstrike means na complete control halos talaga at 14 minutes, hindi tayo umabot ng 15. Ganon kabilis ang matchup natin dito sa Aura versus ONIC. Now, it was basically the same idea from Game 1 dito sa Aura PH. Halos halos double, 'di ba? Si KLVJ mag-farm lang muna sandali dun sa baba, while the rest of the team will definitely try to hold off and do their assassinations, do their thing. Na hindi naman talaga it didn't go according to plan. And as you can see, it was a very, very huge push from ONIC-PH. Now, I think we can go to the highlights real quick and we'll show you some of the things that happened here. Specifically, I think ang pinaka-big deal dito is, of course, mga pasok, mga entrada ni Dilar din. Hindi lang sila yung nakatambay. Hindi mga offlaner yung nakatambay lang sa mga lane nila. Hindi. Lagi silang dumadalaw. Laging may presence. Very high kill participation, making sure na Wise always has that free hit on the Isan Shin. Especially Oh My Venus as well. Kita nyo, sobrang busy nila Oh My Venus sa pag-ikot sa top at sa bot. Bakit yan paulit-ulit, and it was actually very difficult for Aura PH to control. Good effort again from Reflecia as well, from always taking the heat of the battle. Pero again, it's just difficult for a Jawhead to tank everything, and especially in very messy fights. As you can see here, perfect positioning. I think I want to pause this here real quick. Napakahirap, imposible nang maabot si Oh My Venus dito sa likod, and everyone else was just running for the hills at this point. So there was just no way that you could stop the back line of Aura PH unless of ONIC PH unless, like makita natin kanina, there was like a small moment, sana nasa replay yun mamaya, there was going to be a moment where they actually caught Wise retreating dito sa bottom lane. I think tapos na yata yun. Tapos na ba? Hindi. Mangyayari pa yun mamaya pa lang. And again, very good sieges coming from ONIC PH. No one was dying as much as possible, which is ganun talaga dapat. And this was, again, some very good maneuvers from KLVJ, Signs of Life. And again, Yaknu. Ito dati after na yata ito, nung mahuli nila si Wise. Pero again, this is a very good fight. Ipapause ko lang dito sandali kasi si Wise kanina low siya. Nandito siya kanina, pumunta na siya dito. He was low for the whole time. 'Di ba? Pero hindi siya mahabol nung mga backline ng Aura PH just because of the zoning capabilities talaga nitong si Jay as well as Iakno and everyone else from ONIC PH really just knew where they were at each specific moment in the game. Even though namatay si Wise dito, his job was done. Napalambot na niya at napababa yung HP ng mga kalaban dito sa Aura PH and therefore they were able to close this out in a very, very spectacular fashion and it's gonna be very difficult to really just cope up. Kung ako yung Aura PH here at this point, it was just so difficult. And of course, Oh My Venus, your MVP for 115 on that Farsa. No doubt about it, the pick on the Farsa is still one of the best supports in the game by far. The wave clear, the early game, level 4 wave clear is just unmatched. Ang bilis na nag-accelerate ng game dahil doon. Not to mention, the zoning in the later parts of this game is just difficult, especially with the good teammates na on the same page, di ba? Same sila ng page, same sila ng iniisip. Therefore, they're able to execute their plans perfectly. And that's exactly what happened. It's game 2 between ONIC PH at Aura PH. Now, we're in match point, mga kaibigan. Match point, 1 game away from ONIC PH completing the comeback streak for this team. Again, support ONIC PH there. Visit their pages by scanning the QR codes on the bottom of your screens. And of course, definitely the team that really needs all the shouting to get to a game 5. This is Aura PH. Scan them and tell them messages of support there on their social media as well to make sure that we can get a game 5. Baka magalit si Ginoo, mahirap na, di ba? Pag magalit si Ginoo, iba na. Ayoko na. Okay, visit the MPL-PH official page as well, right there on the bottom of your screen. Scan that QR code. Again, QR code scanners are very, very handy. And it's very well utilized here in the MPL as well. And we have a survey as well where you can get a chance to get rewards if you scan this bad boy right here on that on the bottom of your screens, scanning QR codes. Just go ahead or visit the bit.ly links. It's all the same thing. And again, cannot emphasize this further. Support the teams. Mag-send kayo ng mga mensahe sa kanila. Sabihin nyo sa kanila, guys, this is it, pansit. Go for the fight. This is your big fight. The team that loses in this best of 5 will be going home. That is definitely something that we will see today. And scan those, get those giveaway codes, by the way, on the bottom of your screens. There. Get those codes. MRD bonus code 1. Ang daming codes ngayon. Actually, nagpapauna ng codes ang Muton ngayon. Feeling ko, ubusin nyo na lahat yan habang kaya nyo pa. May bonus code pa tayo dahil grabe daming sumali sa ating mythical, super duper, ultra mythical raffle draw. Diyan. Get it all. Get it all for your journeys dito sa Land of Dawn. Again, we are almost there to the finish if ever ONIC does this. Pero again, we've seen this before. Season 4, this looks exactly like that. Will it be a repeat or will it be different? Let's find out as we go into the match point panel desk right there. Go ahead, take it away, guys.
All for ONIC. Yan yung battle cry ng ONIC PH. Pero I would change something there. All in ONIC na lang. Kasi 2-0 na ang score natin sa series natin right now against Aura PH, against their age-old rivals. Ako si Reptar, still here with Chin and Midnight. And let me just set up a little bit of story before we dive into the deep analysis of Game 1 and Game number 2. Kahapon, when we got into this panel, none of those came from a 2-0. Lahat ng series that brought into the panel were all 1-1. Ito ang unang series that led into a panel that is 2-0. Sino ang maglalaban? Age-old rivals, ONIC and Aura. We have found ourselves in this previous position before. Nung Season 4, 2-0, ONIC lead. Aura, they turned it around, win 3-2. Will that be the outcome today? Midnight.
Alam mo, mahirap kasi with the start that we have, again, tapas-tatas nga ako kanina yung win conditions, galing talaga nung nagsulat nun it fit nicely, di ba? Parang pag perfect na perfect yung pagkaka-describe kung paano nanalo yung ONIC PH against Aura. If you look at the draft, they have drafted, nag-secure na sila ng tank, it was the Jawhead on J, and they drafted 2 strong side laners. And Aura PH drafted 1 side lane and 2 cores, yung Ling and Roger. I understand, it's a 1-2-2 lineup. No, nagpa-pop up na yun nga, nagiging trend na. And Aura PH is known to be a very good 1-2-2 team. Unfortunately, teams change. Yung laro ng mga teams, nagbabago yan. Even the rotations. The draft and the rotation should go hand in hand. Hindi pwede maghiwalay yung dalawang idea na yan. And with this lineup, I understand that it can work out, pero hindi sila naka-execute ng early game momentum lead. Why? They have Roger and Ling. Dalawang heroes na gutom sa early game. If you don't give them early game, mahihirapan sila. And you have Basha and Farsa, 2 heroes that wants to play very aggressive. And hindi hindi nag-align yung gustong gawin ng mga heroes ito para nagtatalo sila. Uy, ano ba? Ano ba gagawin natin? Sa tayo? Anong gagawin ni Farsa? Although nagkaroon naman ng konting breathing room si Aura PH. Fortunately, that's the time na nag-online na yung Eudora and yung YSS. Kasi you can't fight against these cores na bibigyan mo ng space para mag-farm. Tapos sasabihin ni Aura PH, okay, timing na natin. Yung YSS timing niya na rin. Yeah. And you have to respect the timers of a YSS. Kapag binigay mo sa kanya yung first 5 minutes of the game na hindi mo siya ginagalaw, expect a very strong YSS kapag lumabas na yung mga teamfights.
And I like how we set it up in the win conditions na dapat tignan natin yung laban ng side laners. And in game number 1, it was a big game for the side laners of ONIC kumpara sa side laners ng Aura here. Nahirapan yung the Yuzong and I believe they put either
It was the Roger.
The
on the side.
Roger in the gold lane. Yeah, they put the Roger in the gold lane there. Had a bit of a hard time against the Jawhead and the Khalid here. And we've seen when
it was the Alice versus the Yuzhong.
Right, the Alice versus the Yuzhong. Yeah. So we've seen here so far with that key to victory, the side laners for ONIC, they're doing it.
Yeah,
they do what they need to do.
Actually, nung una kasi talaga, I have strong beliefs in science, but now I believe in magic. I believe in ONIC magic.
The ONIC magic.
Kasi parang,
teka, hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Sino ba yan?
Uy, pa.
Ay, nako po.
nako yun na. Si Mr. Valdez.
Sige pa. Sige.
Nako, season 4.
Okay, we got it.
Ano sabi ni
We
Ginoo?
got it. We're going to game 4 and 5.
Oy,
Medyo na talaga.
Ballsy
ang
sure
tanong
ball
ba,
na.
makikinig ba ang ONIC? Kasi parang hindi nakikinig
Actually,
ng ONIC sa Ginoong Valdez eh.
Real talk medyo delikado nga yung medyo delikado yung tagline ng ONIC ngayon, diba? All for ONIC for season 4.
Season 4.
Diba? Feeling ko dapat all in ONIC talaga eh. Tanggalin muna nila yung 4.
Refresh us, Mr. Midnight. Ano ba nangyari nung season 4?
Okay, so quick refresher lang. Sa mga hindi nakakaalala ko na nangyari nung season 4. Grand Finals against Sunsparks. It was already a 2-0 victory for ONIC PH. Then game 3 came in, tinanggal yung pinaka-paboritong hero ng ONIC for the entire season, which is Estes. Then nag-snowball, alam mo yun, tuloy-tuloy na nag-momentum si Aura. Nag 3-2. So binaligtad yung series. Now it can happen. Tumawag na si Ginoong Valdez. For some reason tumawag na si Ginoong Valdez. So gusto niya makakita ng game 5. Pero quickly I want to review on the second game. Itong draft na nakikita niyo ngayon, a lot of people will question why this lineup of Aura didn't work. If you look at the heroes, they're all assassins. Well, except kay Yuzong, which is sustain hero. Pero the idea of this lineup is to assassinate people.
Right.
Kaya nga nakatatlong execute sila. Even the Roger had execute, di ba? Problem with this is let's throw back to NXP versus Execration, second series of regular season, game 2, 'di ba? Naalala ko
yung second meeting
for some
nila.
reason naalala ko yung game. NXP went with an all-in assassin draft then as well. Game 1 they won, game 2 siguro na-excite sila, gusto nilang patayin lahat ng heroes ng Execration. They went with a full assassin lineup. Problem with that is para kang gumawa ng lineup na bata yung nagturo sa'yo na para sasabihin sa'yo na bakit na lang di po kayo gumawa ng lineup na puro assassins para mabilis patayin yung heroes. The genre doesn't work that way. There are team fights. Diba? There will be team fights. And Mobile Legends is the most frequented team fights out of all esports titles out there. Ito yung pinaka team fight heavy talaga. And if you look at the side of ONIC PH, they have a lot of team fight. There's a TAMS, a YSS, and a Farsa. Even just the Farsa and the YSS alone spells out team fight, no? Actually, ang pinakamalaking contribution nga ni YSS sa isang team fight is yung ultimate niya. Yun lang yun.
Right.
Diba?
Yeah.
Anything other than that, yung ginagawa ng isang YSS, dumadodge lang at ang nalalasit. Yun lang talaga ginagawa niya. And the reason why I like the Farsa on ONIC side, no, di ko nga gets bakit binigay kay Venus yan. Venus special eh. It's one of the biggest team fights that you can have against assassins. Kasi these assassins are full committal, and if you don't, if you fail, diba? If you don't get your targets off, the Farsa will heavily punish you.
Right.
One of our win conditions that we put up there earlier was that ONIC should try to put JP into the marksman role. But even though you haven't really put him into that kind of role, he's still getting to play his assassins. We're not seeing the godlike JP.
Yeah.
You
Right,
mentioned
right.
it earlier
Oo.
na ngayon parang we're seeing JP and Y siguro in the same level.
Exactly,
Kumpara
yes.
sa dati na godlike JP talaga, no one can touch him. It seems like gods can bleed. Nahirapan si JP and the rest of Aura ngayon. Gods can bleed. So, for you, Chin, what does Aura need to work on here as we head into potentially what could be the game-winning point for ONIC? What does Aura need to do?
I think it's time for them to bring out their secret weapon. Like I'm sure like they've prepared something. They have to bring it up. Not like, as in, like right now. As in, ngayon pa lang, it needs to come out.
Yeah.
It needs to come out.
And hopefully it does. Para sa Aura fans there, if you've been supporting Aura since the time na tawag pa sa kanila, Sunsparks, noong Season 4, you need to show your support now because the defending champions ng MPL, they might get knocked out now to their age-old rivals, ONIC PH. All for ONIC or Aura Fire. Here we go. It's time for Game 3.
Thank you so much to our panel, Reptar, Midnight, and of course, Chin Valdez na nakita natin na tumawag yung kanyang
Tumawag
airpads.
si Papa. Tumawag si Papa.
Oo, si Ginoong Valdez. So that only means, mga kaibigan, na parang gusto yata ni Papa ng Game 5.
Tingnan natin kasi what it takes right now para makabawi dito yung Aura is talagang literal na laban lang.
Yes,
Yun
literal.
ang kailangan nila gawin. Laban lang, dali nila dito sa reverse sweep, win 2 games straight, di gawin nilang best of 1 and hope for the best. But, hindi papayagan ng ONIC PH yun.
Totoo yan. Totoo yan. So medyo nawala na din as well, Butters, yung nangyaring trend natin kahapon na pagka nanalo yung isang team, definitely natatalo sa susunod. So ONIC PH did showed us na hindi yon ganon ang story today. Now, the story for the day is magka-crown yata tayo or magka-crown ba tayo ng bagong champion for this specific season dahil 1 game away na naman dito ang ONIC for taking the chance dito ng Aura na bumalik sa Grand Finals.
Ito yung tinatawag nating hanging by a thread. As in literal na napakaliit na lang
Oo.
or napakanipis na lang ng sinulid na to. Para na kapag matabig ng onti ito, pwede na silang malaglag. Pero lagi nating tatandaan, never underestimate heart of a champion.
Exactly. A heart of a champion. Ito yung naalala ko yung sa mga interview dito, specifically on Season 4, nung Aura PH was down 2 games against ONIC, they are not thinking for a Game 5. They're just thinking for that specific game, 1 game at a time.
1 game at a time kasi hindi ka naman pwede tumingin sa sobrang layong pangyayari. Kasi kung nakatingin ka agad sa Game 4, may chance na baka hindi mo mabigyan ng tamang atensyon yung Game number 3.
Totoo. Totoo yan. Totally agree. And something din is dun sa, may sinabi kanina si Chin Valdez. Ang sabi niya, kailangan nang ilabas dito ng Aura kung ano man yung secret weapon nila. Ano sa tingin mo yung secret weapon pa ba na hindi pa nilalabas ng Aura?
Ako hindi pa na-utilize dito fully si Greed.
Ay,
Si Greed, yung pacing dito ni Greed tsaka ni Raflesia, nagkaroon sila ng kakaibang setup dito na hindi mo ramdam yung support duo nila pareho.
Totoo.
Na parang dahil doon, hindi na rin nakakagalaw at nakakapwesto si Kilowash, si KLVJ, at si JP ng maayos.
Totoo yan.
So, ibig sabihin, at this point in time, feeling ko Aura PH, gawin nyo na lang kung ano yung komportable si Greed. Kasi kapag nakuha ni Greed yung pattern na komportable siya, yung draft na komportable siya, pakiramdam ko, mas malaki yung chance niyong makakuha ng isang game against ONIC.
Totoo yan. At isa to sa magiging sagot siguro ngayon ng Aura. Now, they are realizing how strong the YSS here for ONIC PH. Now, makakakita tayo ng ibang carry dito para kay Wise. And something to note din, no? Napansin ko, kung di ako nagkakamali, on the past 2 games, we haven't been seeing any signs na magpipick dito ang Aura ng Kufra. Which is, isa sa mga hero na talagang kinilala ang Aura PH. Even on Season 4, on Season 5, parang ninineglect nila yung hero na to ngayon. Would you think it's gonna be a good time na ilabas na the championship? Kumbaga na ipangalan, naging kamukha nga eh. Diba? Kufra siya. Is it gonna be the time para sa kanila?
Tingnan natin. I mean, they got what they wanted dito. Nakakuha sila ng isang Thams at ng isang Yu Zhong. So maganda na agad yung side lane tempo nila dito. Hindi na yan mabubuli basta-basta. Pwede na nilang tutuunan ng pansin dito agad yung mid lane setup na ginagawa nila na mas komportable sila sa ganung idea.
Yes. I really like the 2 picks dito. Pero ano, no? I think the Yu Zhong, would you think it's really valid na dapat nilang sinasama to lagi sa priority pick nila? Kasi they've been first picking the Yu Zhong for the first 2 games. Now, still, yun pa din dahil though 2 picks, kasama pa din siya. And looking at the data Yu Zhong isa sa pinaka-lowest win rate ng Aura for the Season 6 ng MPL.
Ako kasi, naniniwala ako na itong Yu Zhong pick na to para talaga to sa ONIC eh. Hindi ito yung tipong ginagawa nila kasi gusto lang talaga nila mag-Yu Zhong. It's more on the idea na laging gumagamit kayo si Venus ng mga backline mage. Kapag sinabi kong backline mage, yun yung mga control mage na nakikita nyo. Mga Farsa, mga Rafaela, yung mga tipong kapag nalapitan mo, wala naman talagang pang-keep away sa'yo ng ganun kaganda o mapipilitan sila lumayo, thus, hindi nila nagagawa yung trabaho nila into healing or sabihin natin yung stun or yung feathered airstrike. Hindi na nila nagagawa yung trabaho nila because of that. So, ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng mind games eh. So, parang pipiliin ko yan, tapos ONIC, pipili pa ba kayo ng Farsa? Pipilit nyo pa ba talaga?
Totoo.
Tapos, ang nakakatawa dito, ONIC, hindi din sila nagpapatinag.
Yes.
Pinipili lang nila yung gusto nila.
Exactly. And kung nakita mo din, no, kung paano pumwesto si Oh My Venus, yes, alam natin that the usual number 1 priority, katulad ng previous game, was to kill the YSS, to kill the Farsa, pero hindi yon nangyayari. Kasi yung positioning, alam din to be honest ni Oh My Venus na siya yung target ng Yu Zhong, and whenever the Black Dragon was used, talagang humihiwalay muna siya or rather, maximum distance ng feathered airstrike lang ang kanyang ginagawa.
Okay. So, nakuha ng Aura dito yung Claude. And I think sila yung sa mga teams na capable na gawin yung Claude mid lane setup.
Yes.
It could probably be side lane, hindi ko alam. Pero looking at it right now, wala nang space dito para magkaroon ng Claude side lane kasi parehong side laner siya itong kinuha nila.
Totoo.
Doon sa first 2 picks. So medyo ipit na talaga sila dito in terms of the course. Ang kailangan na lang, ang maayos na lang nila dito is yung kanilang duo support tandem.
Totoo yan. Pero that really surprised me, Kuya Butters. I know, kumbaga dito as Aura is somehow basa sila eh. Kasi those 2 heroes na unang pinili is the side lane. At gaya ng hindi ito yung Claude na pwede mong isipin na pang mid, pwedeng pang side with the Avarice. Pero eto na alam mo na So the only ones that left for Aura PH is to get their support and get their tank. And that's what ONIC PH did. They banned the Kufra siya sasabihin ko sana. They banned the Kufra, which is a very good pick sana for Aura, and they don't want that. So this is how Aura really confident sa kanilang first 3 pick that they neglected the other roles para sa kanilang team?
I mean, they have the capability to do so. Kahit sabihin natin na talo sila ng 2 beses dito, you cannot take away the fact na sila pa rin ang back-to-back champions ng MPL-PH. They're the only ones who did it dito sa Pilipinas. And
much respect.
Kailangan mo din talaga bigyan ng isang malaking respeto yung Aura PH dito. Pero, for the side of ONIC naman, katulad nga ng sinasabi mo, pwede nila gamitin sa advantage nila to eh. Kahit sabihin mong champions pa rin yan, there are downsides sa pagpili ng 3 core agad on your first 3 picks. Kumbaga, kung tututok kayo sa mga supports at sa tanks na ganyan, mapapansin mo, ang ginawa na lang nila dito sa bans nila, pansinin mo yung target. Pansinin mo yung target, it's going to be Greed, Kiel VJ, tapos Raflisha.
Yes. So, it's really ONIC PH is really neutralizing the heroes dito, ni Grid and ni Raflisha. At kitang-kita naman yan on how ONIC PH drafts on this game. Another Eudora pick here for Oh My Venus, and that is probably the nail in the coffin dito for Aura.
Okay.
Dahil a burst damage galing sa isang Eudora, kayang burahin kahit ilan pa ang item mo dito unless mag-Athena Shield dito si JP.
Ito signature ni JP kasi yung pumapasok na Blazing Duet na mag-isa lang siya.
Yes.
This time around, hindi niya pwede gawin yon.
Yes.
Kasi for sure, etong kulod na to, retribution ang hawak
Yun
nito.
pa. Which is hindi siya pwedeng mag-purify or if it shows na mag-purify, who will use the retribution? The Yuzhong? Or give it to the Tamus? Which is very awkward na agad sa kanila.
So, ibig sabihin dito, they put JP in a very hard spot agad dahil sa pili na Eudora na yon. Kasi itong Eudora na to, makuha niya yung Clock of Destiny niya na maaga. That means he can proceed to getting the burst damage pa galing doon sa ibang items. JP, baka may time dito na mapasok ng Blazing Duet, buburahin lang siya ng Eudora. And that's one thing na ayaw makuha. That pick on the Hilda, napakasakit din for JP. Kasi tatandaan natin, marksman to, and that means Hilda will be aiming to go for the invade. Ang tanong dito, papaano lulutasin ng Aura PH yung early game capability, early game invade na magagawa nitong ONIC?
Yes, that's gonna be the question. Mga kaibigan, kaya nga kaya dito na mag-comeback or mag-bounce back dito ng Aura PH as ONIC PH, sila yata ang may fire ngayon, mainit. For the past 2 games, kita natin how strong, how prepared ang ONIC PH sa laban nila against the defending champions. Is it gonna be a new champion for MPL Season 6? Who knows? We're gonna be seeing Aura PH to have the chance to come back. Pero I really like what you've said, Butters. Delikado dito si JP. So does the Farsa. Yung mga pick-up potential dito ng mga heroes ng ONIC PH, hindi ka talaga pagbibigyan. Hindi to nagbibiro, ika nga.
And tingnan natin kung paano gagawin ng ONIC PH yung 3-0 na inaasam-asam nila na matagal na. At kung paano bibigyan ng magandang laban dito ng Aura PH yung ONIC PH ngayong match point na yung kalaban nila. Laban lang, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be game number 3 of this best of 5 series.
Oh my, oh my! Sa mga nanonood dyan, sa mga naghahapunan na din, siguraduhin nyo na nakatutok na kayo dahil malamang ito na ang huling pagtatagpo ng dalawang team na to. Look at Jay, same pa din ang kanyang ginagawa, just trying to invade dito. Ang purple buff na naman ni JP, wala na talaga sila dito patawad. Ang sakit ng damage, JP might actually lose his
Nakuha ni Kiel
purple
VJ.
blood. Well, I guess, mas okay na makuha yun.
But then again, hindi spammable yung Art of Thievery mo.
Totoo yan, totoo yan.
So that means, mamipwersa ka dito kumuha ng Demon Shoes.
Exactly. At ang masama pa niyan, mas okay na sana kung kay Grid na punta yung 3 hero doon na may mana. Pero ito na, mukhang may mawawala pa. Sino nga ba yun? JT to, mukhang makakatakas pa. Kiel BJ na may purple buff, nasaan ka na?
And that is bad for the side of Aura PH. Nakuhaan sila ng mga buff dito. And man, oh man, tingnan mo kung paano ginagawa ng ONIC PH yung mismong setup nila dun sa jungle ng kalaban. 1 minute pa lang, may jungle presence na sila agad.
Jungle present at 1,000 dalagdag insulto para dito sa buong kupunan ng Aura PH. JP on a game dito sa una or rather sa umpisa ng laro. Ang hirap ng buhay ng ganitong Claude.
And that is going to be a big factor into deciding this game for the side of ONIC PH. While Aura naman dito, they are putting a lot of focus para kay JP na nilagay muna nila dito sa may gold lane.
Oo, pero ito Buttersub, they are just trying to go in and Yakno here with the Basha. I really like the side lane Basha. Tapos ipa-pair up mo pa siya sa isang poke hero na Hilda. Ito, Raflisha trying to slide it up, papunta doon sa may torre. I think it's a nice try. Pero what is nice para dito sa Aura is that ONIC PH ngayon. Pasok, oh my Venus, flicker in. Ganon kalupit ang reyna ng ONIC. Wala siyang pake, pero may talon from KLBJ. Ako naman ang babawi. Pero mamamatay nga kaya, Counter Inferno was there. Sino pa Dilar dito? Tumalon, patay na naman. Isa sa Aura, KLBJ. Masyado ka nang matilog, JP. Nag-BMI ka na ba? Mukhang oo at makakatakas pa nga naman din.
Iba ang bigayan dito, ladies and gentlemen, ni Dilar, ha? Si Dilar, galing siya kung saan-saan. Isa siyang gala.
Gala. Bukod sa gala, parang ano in lahat na ng pwede mo sabihin in the zone, naka-super saiyan form, lahat pwede mo na ngayon sabihin kay Dilar all throughout the 3 games, on point dito.
Siya yung kaibigan mo sa buhay mo na hindi nakamiss ng ni isang birthday.
Ay, oo. Alam mo yung kahit sa handaan, nakatayo na kumain, wala siyang pake, basta meron kang lumpia.
Tama naman.
Diba?
At kahit
hindi ka pwedeng
kahit
pumunta ng party, tas ubos na yung lumpia.
kahit birthday ng pinsan mo,
Oo.
basta may lumpia.
Basta may lumpia, matik yan, pwede pang magtabi sa purse.
Oo.
Tago mo pa.
Mga ate Sharon natin, ate Shawi, balutin mo ako. Balutin mo ako.
Balutin mo ako, mga kaibigan. Wow, ONIC PH, really surprising us. We know this might gonna go far. Na-feel ko yung gigil mo doon, Butters. Alam ko yung kuryente ni Eudora. Sobrang sakit. And you can be able to see here, mga kaibigan, how confident ONIC PH. Pag yung Eudora, nag-flicker in na sa'yo, that's one example, or rather, masasabi mo na sobrang confident na nila, sobrang alam nila na kaya kanilang patayin. At yun ang kailangan mo kapag...
Napapalibutan ka na namin! Napapalibutan!
Naku po!
Tumama yung Dolomite sa pader!
Yung Dolomite! Wits! Grabe naman! Yung Dolomite na yan! Pero ito pa ang mas grabe. Si Grid dito, malapit nang mawala. Pero hindi pa naman, makakalipad pa rin yung pabalik ng Blaze Flicker. Out dito ang tie grill nyo, mga pre, dahil 3,000 ang labang ng ONIC ngayon. 4 na minuto pa lang ang meron sa laro. Paano na? Aura Fire, nasa na?
Unti-unting nawawala ang lagablab ng apoy dito ng Aura PH. Slowly but surely, ONIC PH dito, talaga dinadissect nila yung playstyle na ginagawa ng Aura dito at pinapakita nila na for Season 6, nasa ibang level kami at kami ang kailangan nyo sabayan. Aura dito, hindi pa sila talong-talo. Pwede pa nila mabawi ito. Remember, this is still JP on the cloud. Kung meron tayong mga taong titignan na dapat tingalain sa paglalaro ng marksman, I feel si JP, nakakalimutan natin na Season 4, Season 3, ang lakas ng Claude na ginagawa niya. Ngayon lang natin ulit nakita to.
Ngayon lang natin ulit nakita. Pero makakapatay nga ba? Pero si Grid ang unang nawala. Pero binanata niya ngayon dito si Wise. Ito na yata yung hinahanap mo, Butters, na Claude ni Kuya mo JP. KLVJ, tropang magtropa talaga dito sa taas. Pero Iyakno, wala siyang pake. Bato ng gulo, nandol pa yon. Pero out na muna, mukhang hindi nyo kaya yatang balatan ang isang basa dahil nandito na rin si JB. Palo dun sa kanyang baso, habol doon. KLBJ, kaya pa nga. Nako, nakikipag 1v1. Sino ang great one? Pero wala doon at wala na. Tamang bugbugan lang dito yung mga miyembro ng ONIC at Aura. Pero ngayon, ating tingnan, mukhang hindi pa yata tapos. Nag-cooldown at lahat-lahat. Pero tignan mo, yung bawas doon sa gulong na yon, parang hindi man lang, kiniliti lang yata nila doon si Iyakno, Kuya Butters.
Si JP dito, talagang ayaw nilang pauwiin. Ang ginagawa nila, triangle offense sila. Isa sa baba, isa sa kaliwa, isa sa kanan, at si JP dito, crossover.
Grabe yung triangulo, Kuya Butters. Alam mo yung
Triangle offense.
left, right, tapos justify.
Anong justify? Anong justify? Alignment yun, center.
Hindi ba? Center ba yun?
Center.
Hindi ba yun yung sa sa Microsoft Word?
Oh.
Center
Left,
pala.
right, center.
Left, right, center pala.
Oo, kumbaga, kung Microsoft Word mo, tama init.
Sabi mainit. Pero ang mas mainit, yung laban ngayon. Grabe naman, mga tol. Guys, kung kayo naghahapunan ngayon,
Uy,
siguradong
ang ganda nito.
hindi nyo na maisubo yung kutsara na yon dahil si Dilar hindi lang pogi dito, makulat din, humihil pa din, walang pake dito sa Aura.
At parehong-pareho lang yung ginagawa ni Dilar ngayon.
Oo.
sa ginagawa niya sa Facebook.
Ano yun? Ano yun?
Bawat scroll down mo ngayon,
Ay!
makikita mo yung picture ni Dilar.
Exactly.
Yun yung
Minsan-
nangyayari sa Aura PH.
Sa totoo nga, minsan,
Kung sa-
Kuya Butters, gigising ako sa umaga, imbis na yung girlfriend ko makita ako, si Kuya Dilar.
Si Kuya Dil.
Oo.
Ayan yung usually na nakikita ko ngayon. Ang dami
Oo.
nag-share eh.
Oo, pero auto-like, saka auto-heart, pagka
Oo.
nakita ko si
Tsaka
Kuya
yung ano,
Dilar.
mga nagko-comment, hindi mawawala yung add to heart.
Ay, add
Hindi,
to heart.
never.
Totoo naman. Kasi yung pormahan kasi ni Kuya mo Dilar, Kuya Butters, talagang yung laging kailangan medyo messy yung hair mo. Tapos
Oo.
parang aayusin mo ng konti.
Yung woke up like this.
Oh, walk up like this.
Tama.
Tapos medyo, kumbaga kung ikaw naghahanap ka ng chinita, siya kasi medyo chinito. Diba? Oo. Parang siya yung short haired chinito look boy.
Oo.
Diba? Shoutout sa
Short-haired.
mga Dilarmy.
Oh, Dilarmy.
Oo.
Shoutout sa mga Dilarmy. Short-haired, chinito, gamer BF.
Ay, iba.
May glasses ba?
Wala siyang glasses
wala.
Oh, walang
Alam ko
glasses.
meron naman.
Ay, meron ba? Pero dito ang meron at sure ako, dito yung aura lumiliit na naman ulit ang kanilang mapa. They are very
Checkpoint.
may check.
Parang may checkpoint eh, no? Bawal
Oo,
off.
bawal eh.
Anong pakay nyo dito?
Kumbaga, hindi pa sila nakapaglagay ng RFID nila. Kasi ngayon, totoo lang, tol, sa pupunta ka ng NLEX o kaya kahit sang may text, kailangan mo na ng RFID bago mag-November 2. Kundi, fine ka ngayon.
Nakakuha ka na.
Ay, meron na. Meron na yung
meron.
sinakyan ko kaninang yung sinakyan ko kanina, meron na.
Oh, meron
Pero
na.
ang meron ngayon, mga tol, si Dilar walang pake. Dahil wala kang pake, sabi dito ni Great, ikaw muna ang una naming kukunin. Habol doon, iyakno yung dragon. Naku po, nag-iikot-ikot lang pero out na muna. ONIC PH, they know they are on the lead. Ayaw nila itong mawala at ayaw din nilang makabakan na namang muli ng aura.
Ito yung sinasabi natin, yung patience game from ONIC PH. Nung nawala si Dilar, nagkamali sila. Ang ginawa nila, medyo nakipag-chacha sila ng onte, nakipagsayawan sila ng onte. Pero yung pakay talaga nila doon was to really disengage.
Oo. Parang parang diversion lang yung Raging Sandstorm na pag stand-on out na tayo mga tol.
Pero, pakiramdam ko naman, kung tumama talaga yon,
Why
They
not?
can go. They can go.
Yes, definitely they can go. Pero ONIC PH need to be very careful dito mga kaibigan dahil Aura PH has a draft that can specifically scale throughout the late game. Pero ito na nga kaya yun. Dilar once again half on HP. Pero sa likod, look at the Hilda. Ginugulo-gulo si Kiluwash at si Raptisha. Pero doon na nga, may binalik. Papasok ng Torre. Makunat ka bang baksa ka? Yun ay hindi. Dahil nawala na naman dito ang isang miyembro ng ONIC PH, Aura. We are the defending champion. Hindi kami basta-basta.
Pero hindi sila basta-basta. Hindi sila basta-basta napapasok, Rob. But, the thing is, minimal ang losses dito ng ONIC PH.
Yeah.
Nawawala lang sa kanila si Dilar, nawawala lang sila si Yakno, si OCJ, pero after that, wala nang nakukuha dito. Kumbaga, nagagawa na lang ng Aura PH, napapatagal nila yung game para unti-unting makakuha ng farm si JP.
Totoo.
And considering yung map control na ginagawa ng ONIC PH dito, walang access si JP sa kahit anong jungle monsters dito. So, ibig sabihin, yung retribution, tulog.
Tulog. Bukod sa tulog, is that hindi rin makakuha dito ng buff si JP, which is Daklod. Pero there is something good din naman that is happening for Aura is that ang medyo napupunta ang gold was technically on Oh My Venus. Wise here is just farming his item, just came from all the jungle creeps and the minion waves. Pero wala siyang nakukuha patay, hindi siya nakakakuha ng kill. Meaning to say, mas may item si Oh My Venus, which is, alam natin na parang mayroong specific time lang na malakas dito ang isang Eudora, which is early to mid game. Going to the late game, it might na hindi na siya ganun mag-matter. Pero ang tanong, Kuya Butters, kaya ba napatagalin palalo ito ng Aura?
Kaya nila. Just because, Rob, meron tayong Blazing Duet dito na expendable naman. Meron din tayong Feathered Airstrike na kaya mag-control ng 3 lanes. Basta maganda ang pwestuhan dito ni Greed.
Yeah, totoo. Totoo yan. And Greed, specifically Greed and even with JP. I was really trying to see kung nag-winter transyo na ba dito yung Eudora natin or he's actually confident na kahit na Clock of Destiny lang hindi pa enough, hindi pa. I mean, kung kunat niya enough na para sa damage na ibubuga ni JP on the clock.
Pero kasi ang Aura PH dito, ang ginagawa lang nila, laban lang.
Hindi
lang talaga nila binibigyan masyado dito yung ONIC ng pwesto para talagang mahuli sila ng isang Raging Sandstorm. Kumbaga, ang ginagawa nila, sineseparate nila yung sarili nila and they're trying to go for the instances na kaya nila ilaban kasi gusto nga nilang lumaban lang.
Exactly. Lumaban lang talaga. Pero ito, ang laban na magaganap, this is still not gonna be a Luminous Lord. Hindi pa ito papalo basta-basta sa torre. Pero wala na dong pake yung mga ONIC dahil pinatay na kagad ni Khalid. Doon si Greed. Habol doon sa likod. Kiel VJ ang nawala. Sulong dito. All for ONIC. Ito na nga ba? Malalaman na ba natin na magkakaroon ba tayo ng bagong kampiyon sa season na to? Malapit na nating malaman dahil malapit na rin mabura ang dito ang
Oh
aura.
my goodness, ladies and
Ang
gentlemen!
nawala. JP na lang ang natira. At ang Reyna nandito na. 3-0 for ONIC PH.
And ONIC PH commanding, decisive, dominating victory against our back-to-back champions. Walang three-peat, ladies and gentlemen. And to think na 2 season sila hindi binigyan ng pagkakataon ng Aura PH. Ang ginawa ng ONIC, diretso lang. Hindi sila tumingin patalikod.
Walang tinginan
Ang
talagang
ginawa
patalikod.
nila, nakafocus lang sila sa goal. Lumaban.
Yes. I am out of words, Kuya Waters. Wow, I'm expecting this is gonna be a toe-to-toe battle, but ONIC PH on playoffs mode.
Yeah.
3-0, coming from a 2-0 noong regular season, pwede natin sabihin, ay, tago strat. But this is the knockout round, this is the playoffs, and ONIC PH giving a 3-0 sa ating back-to-back champion. Kaya na nga kaya nila to, dire-diretso, papuntang Grand Finals.
Yung nag-iisang hurdle na pumigil sa kanila for the longest time, sila ang nag-asikaso.
Exactly.
At sila din ang naglaglag. Now, Aura PH, no three-peat, and the dynasty, hindi mabibuild ngayon.
Yes, it's not gonna be built. Pero once again, we would like to thank Aura PH. Alam mo yung bigat sa pakiramdam that we're not gonna be seeing. We've been used to see this team for at least a year. Pero now, we will be closing the book for them for this season at least. And ONIC PH, congratulations. Kuya Butters, you have something else to say dito sa naging laban?
These two teams are very good friends of mine. And Aura PH, sadly, this is the end of the road for them. And congratulations, ONIC. Pero GG, well played. Aura, I want to see you guys next season.
Yes, ako din. I
Gusto-
really
gusto
wanted
natin
to
matuloy
see
to.
them bounce back dito. Pero there are a lot to say about these teams, mga kaibigan. Unang serye pa lang to ng araw na ito. Pero I guess there are a lot to hear and see sa mga sasabihin sa atin dito ng ating solo analyst, Rockhart. Anong meron siya?
Well, since the teams are here, dumadagundong MPL Studio with the victory of ONIC PH over Aura with a 3-0. What a commanding victory that they've had there in that series. And I think wala nang tago strats. Wala nang ganun. Wala nang mga hidden jutsu. Wala na. Lahat na ito na yun eh. And this was it. And ONIC PH definitely stepped up their game in this one. So let's go into the post-match here. Ladies and gents, for item builds, definitely, ang pinaka-man-notice natin dito is yung win condition sana ng Aura PH, which is of course JP.